State of Mississippi.
This is
Out of Bounds with Bo Bounds.
Powered by C-Spire. Customer inspired.
Live in the BankPlus studios.
And you're listening to
ESPN 105.9. The Zone.
You better believe it.
Come on! You just never know, do you? We think we know, but man, you just never know. Welcome in. Good morning. Hope you're doing well. I'll say this. Thanks for making us your sports and entertainment show of choice, because we will talk sports and politics. Same thing, by the way. And we'll tie them together throughout the show. The Out of Bounds show is brought to you by RPT and Rick's Pro Truck. We're live on ESPN 105.9 The Zone, and we're streaming on the Zone1059.com. You can download the Out of Bounds radio app. I don't know how many guys at the Gulfport Gridiron Club downloaded it, but I made sure to raise my phone, tell them about it, and we got a bunch of downloads on the coast Monday night as I thoroughly enjoyed speaking to that awesome 70-year-old Gulfport Gridiron Club on the top of the Hancock Bank building, 15th floor, overlooking the beautiful Mississippi Gulf Coast. That was awesome. And those guys know how to have a good time. Anything goes. Kind of like being on Trump's campaign. Anything goes with that crew. Our Twitter handle at BoBounds. Twitter handle at BoBounds. If you want to see what all we did last night, feel free. I retweeted and favorited a bunch of stuff. We actually follow several thousand people, which most people don't do. And because we have, count our two Twitter handles, 15,000 Twitter followers, I got to see a lot of people comment, weigh in on the national championship of politics, right? The world championship, national championship of politics, which is the presidential election. And Donald Trump is your new president-elect. How many, if I'd have told you that yesterday at noon, you had to bet. You had to bet money. Something, whatever's significant to you today, whether it's $50, $500, $5,000, or $50,000, whatever that, it's a big deal for you, your budget, what you make, and so on. If we were eating lunch yesterday, Blue Plate, somewhere in the Jackson metro area, and I would have said that Donald Trump will be named around midnight, the president-elect of the United States, I think, which way would you go? I'm talking about without betting with your heart. Betting just who you thought would, wagering who you thought would win. I know that, and I'm not a politico. I majored in history, undergrad, eventually got a grad degree in sport and business, and I've been to D.C., and I've been fortunate to lobby for money for the Boys and Girls Clubs and so on, and I kind of understand what it means to go in and out of all the Senate and congressional offices and so on, which is a lot of fun and an eye-opener. But I would have told you that Hillary Clinton wins in a landslide. So that goes to show you what I know.
But what do I know?
I would have told. There's no doubt. If you're betting with your head and your mind, you would have put it on Hillary yesterday at 12.
Most people,
right?
Yeah. I think, at least seven-ish out of 10 people would have.
Yeah, and those three people, I'd be willing to bet are going with their heart.
But I did see there were some pollsters that tried to tell the East Coast media and the West Coast media, along with Michael Moore, the crazy liberal actor, who evidently came on Fox News. I did not know that. And told them that there was something really weird and crazy going on where he's from, which is Michigan and in the Midwest. And that's what, along with Florida, that's what did it for Trump, right? Now, I want to talk about recruiting. We talk about recruiting a lot. Friesen, Mullen, Andy Kennedy, Ben Howland. It was John Cohen and Mike Bianco, and now it's Andy Cannizaro and Mike Bianco. And Andy Cannizaro will join us at 7:30 today, head baseball coach at MSU. I'll have to get used to that after 8 years or whatever it's been, 9 years with Cohen as the head baseball coach. I may call him John Cohen. Who knows what I'll do. So Andy Cannizaro will join us at 7:30 today. We will not talk politics with him, by the way. As we know, that's not where you go with guys like that. But I'm not going to start the Q&A with him as to who he voted for. But can I say this real quick? You know how television has changed the game for us in college football? Yeah, every Ole Miss and Mississippi State game is on. And this may be hard for Drew and Jackson to fathom, but when I started this show, that was not the case. And it's not like I started this show in 1983, even though Jackson thinks I did. Yeah. I started this show in 2003, Eli Manning's senior year. And so Eli Manning's senior year, which for me doesn't feel like that long ago, and to a certain extent maybe feels like a little while ago, Eli Manning's senior year in college, you couldn't get all of the Ole Miss and Mississippi State games on TV. And so the one thing that I thought of when we started this and we built this business, and we built the business, that's where so many guys miss in my profession. They just want to talk in the microphone and they don't want to understand the business piece. That's why most guys that do this last 6 months. It's kind of like a restaurant. You know, it's exciting, it's fun. I'm going to get on the mic. I'm going to talk about, I've watched Sports Center since I was 10 years old, and I've been going to games, and I played high school sports, so that means I can host a sports talk radio show. Well, we're 14 years in, and that's not how it's done. But television changed the game for MSU and Ole Miss, did it not? TCU and Michigan State, right? Oregon.
By far.
Stanford, Cal, South Carolina, Arkansas, among other programs that have taken advantage of the paradigm shift and all the TV money and the fact that those top 12 to 15 schools can't walk in homes around the country anymore and go, well, guess what? Like Coach Bryant did, and Coach McKay, and Coach Switzer, and Coach Osborne, and many others. And they said, well, son, your mama and daddy are going to be able to watch you on TV. So that changed the game. I've said this. ESPN democratized college football. Well, guess what else? Cable, right? Cable democratized, first TV, the networks, and then cable continued to democratize what? Politics. What have we talked about on this show before? As a history major, and I've read a lot on Churchill and JFK, and Churchill did not take advantage of TV, obviously. But who did? Who was the first president? JFK. Who owned television? Why did he beat a guy who was probably superior when it came to strategically politics, who had already been in politics a longer time? Why did he beat Nixon? He owned the camera. Why did Reagan win? He owned the camera. Why did Clinton win? He owned the camera. Why did Bush 2 win? He was fantastic in front of the camera, and so was Barack Obama. So what did Donald Trump, a newcomer, do that Hillary Clinton, even though she has grown up, or whatever, been in the spotlight since definitely 1991-ish too, when Bill Clinton won the presidency. However, did she have the charisma, the moxie, and so on that Trump, Obama, Clinton, and Bill, Reagan, and then JFK? Because we went from JFK to Reagan without anybody that really owned the camera, right? LBJ didn't. Nixon didn't. By default, Ford got it. And then Carter was a mess. So as we talk about television, and Mississippi State and Ole Miss are on every single game, we get them on TV. I also get Michigan State, if I want Michigan State, or if I want TCU, or NC State, or North Carolina, Washington Huskies. These are teams that 30 years ago, it was USC, Alabama, Nebraska, Oklahoma, Ohio State, Michigan, and Texas. That's it. That was it. And whoever they were playing. Oh, Penn State was on a pretty good bit, although they were still out in the middle of nowhere. So Trump, what did he do? He owned his ability to own the camera, and like him or not, he was, again, like him or not, and some of you hate him that are listening, his ability to own the camera and the fact that he was authentic, even if you think he's crazy and blah, 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 and guess what? He wasn't packaged by a political firm like Hillary or like Rubio looked packaged. Hillary looked packaged. Jeb Bush looked packaged. And the country just said, I'm tired of that. That's artificial. Trump just got up there and said, "What? Did you see him with 12 pages of notes?" No. And yeah, he tripped all over himself. I'll say this. I think, and I'll take a break, I think his gaffes, so to speak, that the West Coast and East Coast media would put under the spotlight every time he tripped up and said something, the joke was on the East Coast and West Coast elite media, and here's why. It resonated with blue-collar people around the country, him tripping all over himself. It reminded them of their friend, Kirk, who they sit at the bar stool every day in rural Wisconsin and rural Michigan, who may not be able to pronounce or enunciate every single country in the Middle East or every single president around the country. All right, we're live in the BankPlus studio, Out of Bounds, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. Regardless of your political beliefs, Trump is both polarizing and fascinating. And I do think there's a tie between Mississippi State and Ole Miss and the TV. The Out of Bounds show is powered by C Spire's iPhone 7 on their Max Range LTE network. Boom. Go to cspire.com, pick up your C Spire iPhone 7. We'll go with the big board. And then Andy Cannizaro, the head baseball coach at Mississippi State, will join us at 7:30 to Tillier 8:15.